It's slimmer, it's flatter, and it's smaller, and it doesn't have the helium escape valve. This is the new 2025 Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. We all saw this coming because this is the 20th anniversary of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean, the flagship dive watch from Omega, originally launched obviously back in 2005. This is the 4th generation of this line, and this isn't just a dial change, a color change. This is a new watch. It's got a new case, a new bracelet, a new dial, and it's in 7 new variants.
All right, stop scrolling because today we're diving into a watch drop that has basically lit the entire dive watch world on fire. The 2025 Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. And here we're taking a look at a review by Bark and Jack. And this is slimmer, flatter, meaner, and they actually ditched the helium escape valve on this watch. Yeah, that little knob, half of the community that hated it and then the other half of the community worshipped it, well, that's now gone. And trust me, the internet has been arguing about it nonstop. The crazy part, this isn't some lazy new dial, new color, call it a day release. Omega rebuilt this thing from the case to the bracelet and chopped the thickness down by almost 3 millimeters. This thing is retro intimidation mixed with modern engineering, and people are losing their minds over it. Buckle up, and let's dive in uninterrupted.
Now, although this is a new watch, there's quite a few little nuggets within this watch that call back to its history, not just back 20 years to 2005, but even further than that. There are nods back to Omega's entire history of making dive watches. This started back in 1932 with the Marine. This was the world's first watch made for civilian divers. After that, the Omega dive watch thing kind of exploded. They went on to launch the Seamaster 300, Seamaster 1000, then you had the Ploprof range, and then of course you have the legendary and best-selling Omega Seamaster 300M. After all of that, the Planet Ocean was kind of the next step for Omega when it came to dive watches. Something that kind of sat between the commercial side, which was the Seamaster 300M, and then the professional side, which would have been the Ploprof. The Planet Ocean kind of bridges that gap. At a glance, this looks like a Planet Ocean. It has a lot of the characteristics of the previous Planet Oceans. However, there's actually a lot of differences with this. This is the 3rd generation Planet Ocean, and this is now the 4th generation Planet Ocean. Perhaps the biggest difference, or maybe rather the most obvious difference, is the fact that Omega have deleted the helium escape valve. This is something that the community have asked for so long, but weirdly something that has become iconic with Omega and their Seamaster range. If you were to see a silhouette of the Seamaster, you'd be able to recognize it because of that helium escape valve at 10 o'clock. When it comes to the design of the case and the bracelet, this is one of the things that Omega have done a little nod back to the 80s and 90s. When you think of the early Ploprofs, and one of my favorites, the baby Ploprof, this really has captured a lot of the little design cues that have come from those. How angular the bracelet is and the case, and how much more aggressive it looks. Now, the previous Planet Ocean certainly didn't look soft. Just this one looks that much more aggressive. Now, the dimensions are quite a big thing that have changed around the watch, and although the angular design perhaps makes it look less wearable maybe because it isn't so conformed to your wrist, it's kind of standing out. The dimensions of the watch have changed a lot. It's gone down to 42 millimeters, which is a nod to the original Planet Ocean launched in 2005. Thickness-wise, the previous generation was 16.1 millimeters thick. This new 4th gen is 13.39 millimeters thick. Now, of course, as a measurement, that doesn't sound like a massive difference, but on the wrist, it is a big difference. And within watches, that's a sizable change. Let me share a few details about Shopify, the sponsor of this video. Shopify is designed to make life easier for entrepreneurs, from beginners to big brands, by providing tools. For example, when I wanted to start selling abroad to different markets, it was really easy because Shopify already has features built in to help grow, and you can grow with Shopify. You can start your Shopify trial right now by using the link shopify.com/Bark and Jack, or just click on the link in the description down below. Now let's get back to talking about the new case, because it's not just the dimensions that are changed, it's also the case construction. This case is made in 2 parts. We have a stainless steel outer with then a titanium ring on the inside. This titanium inner ring is something that allows the watch to have its 600 meters of water resistance within the dimensions that the case has. And this is something that Omega learnt when they created the Ultra Deep, the insane version of the Planet Ocean. The bracelet's probably had just as many updates, if not more. We now have a fully integrated bracelet. The links are flatter and they've got more sharper angles. But the overall thing, although it looks chunky, it's got a more slimmer profile. Now, some of the variants are with the rubber strap. However, I feel like the design of the bracelet is kind of part of the overall design of the watch. When I heard the rumors of this watch being launched, I really couldn't visualize what they would do to change the watch. And it's quite epic what they've done around the bracelet because it...
All right, guys, hold up. Pause real quick, because while the video we're reacting to is hyped about the slimmer case and the aggressive bracelet redesign, we need to acknowledge something that they've kind of breezed right past, and that is the titanium inner ring. That is a big deal. Omega didn't have, just a savings by shaving off the thickness. They used their ultra deep tech to make a 600 meter diver watch, wear like a normal watch instead of a steel brick strapped to your wrist. And whether you love or hate the deleted helium valve, the truth is this: Omega finally listened to years of complaints, and they actually made a Planet Ocean that fits normal human wrists. And without neutering the specs, that's not just a redesign, that is a flex. And all right, back to it.
Really throws a watch back to the designs, the era of the Ploprof really aggressive bracelets that I love of the vintage Ploprofs. They kind of brought that back, but modernized it, and it looks really, really cool. The dial has got quite a few changes, but a lot of them are very subtle. All the dials are matte black. We still have the arrow hands and loads of lume. However, the numerals have had a little update as well, although it is very subtle.
Beautiful.
All the numerals are a lot more square, and they've all been open worked. The kind of design of the numerals, with them being so angular, works a lot better with the overall more aggressive angular design of the watch. We'll talk about the movement in a little bit, but I just want to touch on the case back. Two interesting things about the case back. One, Omega have opted for a solid case back rather than a display case back showing the movement inside. Secondly, they've gone for a titanium case back as opposed to steel. This is a grade 5 titanium case back. Now let's talk about the movement. The movement isn't a new movement. However, it was the movement that was used in the Ultra Deep. This is the caliber 8912. It fits all the normal specifications that Omega pushes out. It's a coaxial master chronometer. It's got 60 hours of power reserve, Meta certified. It's highly accurate. It's highly resistant to shock, magnetism, temperature changes. It's a beast of a movement, and that's kind of fitting with the watch that it's going in. You've probably seen the orange teasers that Omega have done around this launch. They even changed their logo on Instagram to be orange. Let's kind of highlight the orange within this lineup. The orange is kind of iconic within the Seamaster range, but mainly within the Planet Ocean range. However, the previous oranges within the ceramic bezels have kind of been washed out. Omega have been able to produce a more vivid orange within their ceramics, and as you can see, it is so much more punchy. We've got 7 new models or 7 new variants within this lineup. We've got 3 orange versions, there's 2 blue versions, and then there are 3 black versions. My favorite of this lineup is probably going to be the boring black on black. However, I do really like the look of the orange bezel with the orange rubber strap. Now, when brands like Omega do outrageous things like sending watches down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, on one hand, I feel like that's just completely unnecessary because we're not going to do that. How do we benefit from that? And I feel like Omega have proven me wrong with this watch because they've taken things that they've learnt from that activity. Although on one hand, that activity just sounds like it's just a marketing activity. It's just a marketing mission. However, I really like the fact that they took things that they learnt from creating that watch, and that's trickled down to the more commercial watches, the more pedestrian watches, and we get to benefit from that insane activity. The fact they were able to figure out that they could use a titanium ring to allow the watch to be thinner but still retain an insane amount of water resistance, we genuinely benefit from that. This 600 meter diver is now in a really impressively slim case. But I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this new version?
Well, guys, there you have it. That's the new 2025 Planet Ocean by Bark and Jack. That is the review. And, Omega, the company that created this watch, They have a huge lineup out of many watches. Of course, they're part of Swatch Group. And this watch, whether you love it or hate it, or are still trying to figure out how the orange bezel looks in real sunlight, you can't deny that Omega showed up swinging this year. And a slimmer case, sharper lines, louder colors, real engineering upgrades. And they actually brought back some of that vintage don't mess with me energy that made the early Planet Oceans iconic in the first place. If anything in this watch proves Omega's still a powerhouse, it's that trickle-down tech from the Ultra Deep. They went to the bottom of the ocean just so that way we can have a daily wear diver that doesn't sit on the wrist like a wet encyclopedia. Respect. And so drop your thoughts below. Is the deleting of the helium escape valve a W or a crime? And are the sharper angles a return to glory, or are they too aggressive? I want to hear your take. Smash like if you enjoyed the breakdown, hit subscribe if you want more brutally honest watch reactions, and ring that bell because the next drop I'm covering is even crazier.